More than a dozen Floridians have been named to the cabinet and other top posts in President-elect Trump's new administration. They include Senator Marco Rubio, who's been nominated for Secretary of State. His choice for Attorney General, Pam Bondi, is from Temple Terrace. Former St. Augustine area Congressman Mike Waltz has been tapped as National Security Advisor. And another former Florida Congressman, Dave Weldon from Indialantic, has been selected to head the Food and Drug Administration. Here's one of those nominees, Florida's former Attorney General Bondi, being questioned on Wednesday by Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois.
Most Americans believe that central to the peaceful transition of power in a democracy is the acceptance of the results of an election. To my knowledge, Donald Trump has never acknowledged the legal results of the 2020 election. Are you prepared to say today under oath without reservation that Donald Trump lost the presidential contest to Joe Biden in 2020?
Ranking Member Durbin, President Biden is the President of the United States. He was duly sworn in, and he is the President of the United States. There was a peaceful transition of power. President Trump left office and was overwhelmingly elected in 2024.
Well, hundreds of reporters from around the world will be attending Monday's inauguration. That includes political journalist Trimmel Gomes, who joins us now. And Trimmel, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
You're up there in D.C. What's the atmosphere? What's it like being there right now?
Well, I just arrived at Union Station and making my way. It's a Friday, so it's the beginning of this, what will be a celebratory weekend for those here to support the president-elect and his second term in office. So expecting many Floridians to come on up here, and I'll be tracking them and trying to talk to them and hear their stories and follow why they are excited about this next term for President-elect Trump.
You know, we played a soundbite from Pam Bondi there in which she said that there was a peaceful transition of power from President Trump when he served previously to Joe Biden. That's not true. There wasn't a peaceful transition of power. They had to delay the final approval of the vote count for several hours because the Capitol was stormed by sometimes violent protesters. What do you make when Bondi seems to deny what happened on January 6, 2021?
Talk about a political answer and her preparation for the job. Her response had a little bit of everything that would sort of affirm and confirm that there was some sort of a transition in that the former president left office. But as you mentioned, she overlooked and denied the violence that we all saw. I recall watching it live on TV, seeing all of the acrimony and everything going crazy, and people running for their lives. So we all witnessed it, and her statement was very much leaving some wondering, like, how could you omit what we all saw? But like I said, it was a very political answer where she gave a little bit of everything while appeasing and appealing to Donald Trump himself by not directly going against what he has continued to do, which was deny and affirm that, like, you know, he still won the election.
Now, Bondi's going to have a big challenge ahead of her as the new Attorney General. A new survey from the Associated Press in Newark finds the public does not believe the new Justice Department will be fair. Only about 2 in 10 U.S. adults are extremely or very confident that the Department of Justice will act in a fair and nonpartisan manner during Trump's second term. Only 17% of American adults say they're extremely or very confident that the Justice Department will act fairly under Trump, and only 18% say they are extremely or very confident that the FBI will act fairly. So that's from a new AP report. So that's going to be a big challenge for Pam Bondi to get the American public on her side.
Very much so, a big challenge. But with this administration, they seem to move forward and try to ram through those challenges. Pam Bondi, one of the big things and question marks for the public was, why wasn't she Trump's first choice? That's adding to the distrust, and seeing that how former Congressman Matt Gaetz was the top pick for the president, to have him, Matt Gaetz, who had a troubled past and was going through and is still going through legal issues. Why did he select Matt Gaetz instead of Pam Bondi? Another question mark for folks is what the President-elect says himself, he promises retribution for his adversaries. So with all of that and seeing his track record and history, people are like, they don't have a lot of faith in this Justice Department operating fairly according to the law.
Trimmel, Florida's been a testing ground for a lot of conservative ideas that have gone through on teaching black history, on DEI, and all sorts of other issues. And I'm wondering, with so many Floridians going up to Tallahassee, going up to Washington, D.C. now, I'm wondering what's in it for Floridians, and does this mark, will Florida's kind of ideology take over up there in D.C.?
Sort of. You'll sort of see Florida's ideology take over, but one of the things that we're also seeing is Florida officials being willing to do whatever the federal government wants, whatever Trump wants. We're seeing them going forward with trying to implement Trump's policies, even though they're not really clear and defined just yet. For instance, when we were talking about immigration, Governor DeSantis has instructed all of state agency heads, and you saw in committee meetings where they were basically repeating the same talking points with regards to immigration. So Florida will be in the spotlight more so, and it's good to have an ear to the most important person, the President of the United States, with all of the officials basically heading up to Washington, D.C. So Florida is going to play a key role with regard to other states, and they're having really good proximity to having whatever happens here be a blueprint for the rest of the country.
Well, Trimmel Gomes, thanks for speaking with us. Stay warm up there and have a good inauguration.
Thank you so much. Take care.